Good morning. Monday, October the 10th, 2022. Let the Monday morning records begin. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Have Heard. And because it's Monday, holy gosh, we're going to expand our reach today and broadcast to some extra channels. So normally 4 days a week, it's only on the channels that are directly attached to the conversation project. On Mondays, we expand a bit because I get a little froggy and there's extra stuff to do. So we're going to be here, or you are here currently on the Jay Cleveland Payne Facebook page, like Jay, or profile, I should say, Jay Cleveland Payne YouTube page, and also on the Jay Cleveland Payne LinkedIn page, because I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. If you want to get this 5 days a week, you can go to our website and sign up for the feeds on Facebook, or by signing up on YouTube and get subscriptions there. We'll have more about that coming up in a bit. Let's get into the stories right now. First, with an explanation of what's going on here. Things You Might Have Heard is going to offer up to you in about 45 seconds or so 10 stories that were posted over the weekend, from Friday, from Saturday, from Sunday, and early this morning. And these are stories, the top 10 stories of the batch of 30 of the top 30. It gets confusing, of stories that you deemed as conversational, things to talk about for your water cooler chat, for people you haven't seen all weekend, the topics to talk about coming up. So what we had is about 93 different stories posted over the weekend, and we took the top 30, a third of those, and from there we took a third, 10 stories that you guys deemed were pretty conversational. If you don't think they're the conversational stories enough, follow the feeds and you can go along with that and see what's going on. Stop by our main website, which is theconversationproject.com. This is theconversationproject.com. The Conversation Project is a whole other thing. And you can see all the things we're doing and how we get these things done 5 days a week, plus Saturdays, as we're trying to get some Saturday work in there. Let's get into the stories right now, moving on quite along. Warriors Draymond Green apologizes for punching Jordan Poole. This was a story that for most of the week was Warriors Draymond Green punches Jordan Poole in practice, and it turned into one of the biggest things that it could be between a test of working with your coworkers to just straight up manhood. This thing has gone leaps and bounds in conversations in various different ways, with various different opinions, as something like this would have done. What Draymond Green has finally done is apologize, because he probably shouldn't have punched his teammate in the middle of practice. Well, he really shouldn't have punched his teammate in practice, but the reasons behind the whole altercation are all kind of silly playground stuff, to be honest. So what you do in a case like this is you save face, you apologize, you do better for the team. Now, whether the beef that's going to continue between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green will continue, it probably will continue in some sort of squashed underground fashion. But in the meantime, for all practical purposes, everyone's playing fine as the Warriors are preparing to start their season in about a week. I think the 18th is the start of the basketball season. So in a week or so, we're going to have pro basketball and the Warriors have to be on the court together. And until one of those guys gets traded, then they got to figure out how to work together. Let's move on to story number 2. No particular order of these stories. You're just 10 of the stories in the top third that were conversational and seem like the best ones that we can get a conversation about. This one right here is one that may not mean a lot to you, but did you know that Eddie Murphy and Mel B from the Spice Girls had a child together? You probably didn't know that, because that was tabloid rumors from 15 years ago when the child was born, and when Eddie Murphy claimed to not want to claim his child. Eddie Murphy has now agreed to pay Mel B child support, and that's in quotes for some particular reason, for the 15-year-old daughter. Now, Eddie Murphy is not agreeing to actually spark much of a relationship with the daughter, but he's agreeing to do the bare minimum. Now, Eddie Murphy's sort of in a bit of a renaissance in work right now, so I guess he's got to kind of put forth that good face and can't have, must have as much good press out there as possible for him. So we're glad he's sticking up for this one. But it is one of those things where in the world where we are sort of battling down the bad father narrative, and especially the bad black father narrative, that Eddie Murphy, a man who has lots of kids already and seemingly plenty of money, can't take care of the kid he had in this case here. This is, it's only, something we're digging into because we're nosy people and they're famous people. Otherwise, it'd just be something else going down the street. However, this is something that people are into, so we're pulling up for you guys right here. Next story to talk about is this one right here. Hurricane Julia heads for Nicaragua after passing Colombian island. Another major hurricane in the Americas. This one not quite in the the target of anything American, United States wise at the moment. But right now we have another major hurricane in the Americas here, kind of doing damage, making its way there. We will see how this thing plays out as things go on. If it becomes something that's going to terrorize more countries, we'll get more news on it. If it becomes something to terrorize us here in the States, whatever remnants are there, we'll get that. The remnants of the last hurricane, oddly enough, it hit Florida, did a lot of damage there. Sort of nicked North Carolina, and went to the Northeast and gave New York City and the areas in New England and those areas there about 4 days of rain before swelling back up and then hitting Canada again. These things are unpredictable. These things are dangerous. We will keep an eye on Julia as she makes her way across until she's no longer a thing. The next story, Senator Tommy Tuberville, that period's there because I turned the sen to senator and didn't edit it right. Tommy Tuberville suggests all black people are criminals. What I need you to do is go to the description and wherever you found this here thing, whether you're listening on the podcast or watching the videos live or on the replays, you got to read the articles. What happened over the weekend? Tommy Tuberville, the senator from Alabama, who used to be a football coach, decides to talk about the Democrats, saying that why they give away all this stuff, because people don't want to work and people are criminals, suggestions implying, sort of making the notion that they give a lot of stuff to black people because black people are lazy and criminals and are going to steal anyway. Context may be lost in my description, but you can get the full context by just reading the article we pulled up there. Or just search Tommy Tuberville black people or Tommy Tuberville criminals, Tommy Tuberville racist, whatever. He was trending for quite a bit of time on the weekend after this nice little speech. You can call it that much, call it that. And it wasn't for happy things, because Tommy Tuberville is proving that he's an ass. We kind of knew that for watching him as a coach. We're really seeing that early on from his roles and his inability to really know anything as a senator. Essentially, they're going to vote in Herschel Walker because he played football for Georgia. They voted in Tommy Tuberville because he was a coach for Auburn. It's one of those things. The qualifications are kind of iffy, but the actual ability to get the job done gets proven pretty quickly that they're just puppets following people and not really thinking on their own. Words I said. Words about to say right now. Madonna seemingly comes out as gay in a new TikTok video. This was a thing. You guys got into this thing, so we went in and put it out there. This is something we held off for quite a bit for the weekend to put in there, but we put it in and it made it. So Madonna is coming out as gay in a TikTok video. Another one where you have to kind of watch the read the comments, watch the articles, see what's going on. It's basically Madonna looking like she really had a lot of really bad plastic surgery and the age is catching up to her, waving pink flags. I guess it is. You guys want it? We put it in there. Steven Seagal, you guys won this one too, but this one I'm more happy to talk about. Steven Seagal sends bizarre birthday message to one of the world's greatest leaders, Putin. Now, any message by Steven Seagal at this point is pretty bizarre because he seems to be off his rockers. However, he celebrated Putin's birthday, calling him one of the world's greatest leaders, as he's essentially all in for the Russian people, government, the way things work out. Steven Seagal, say about a decade ago, maybe not quite that long, basically just became one in the tank for Russia, period. There's no getting him back. He used to be America's biggest kung fu action and star, but fighting Russians in most cases. But that's not the case anymore because he loves the Russians. At least he loves Putin. Or maybe he loves money, he loves whatever he's got for him. We're not sure what Putin has over Steven Seagal. We're not sure what Putin has over anybody. But Seagal is all in the tank for Putin. And he celebrated. He didn't quite, do the happy birthday, Mr. President thing. But it was kind of weird on its own accord. Federal agents see enough evidence to charge Hunter Biden with tax and gun purchase crimes, people familiar with the case say. You may be a person that is wondering why we don't talk more about Hunter Biden. And I'll give you the quick answer is Hunter Biden is a boring topic. Hunter Biden was an issue when the guy that was the guy that was in charge of the country wasn't quite in charge of the country. Now, we could talk all day long about the Trump kids doing Trump kids things while Trump was the president, and Biden's kid doing crazy things before Biden became president, and the ties or whatever. Basically, Hunter Biden using his dad's name as vice president and senator or whatnot to get some deals overseas and do some shady stuff. Now, what we're seeing is the fact that the stuff was shady and there were crimes and things to deal with. However, the elevation of chatting about it is where things go for. Fighting about Hillary Clinton's emails when Donald Trump is holding classified documents makes it seem kind of tame. Fighting about Hunter Biden and a laptop found at a pawn shop someplace because he was doing cocaine sounds like a guy in serious trouble who needed help, and there are some crimes involved, as opposed to the Trump kids who are kids in trouble who might need help with the crimes they're involved in. That gets really convoluted really, really quick. I mean, needless to say, the Hunter Biden story, there is story to it. And I'm not denying that there's some shady deals with Hunter Biden, but using Hunter Biden as a way to take down Joe Biden because you want to put Trump back in office where, Trump is already overly disqualified himself is a little off. There is a thing about playing for your home team, but there's also just, common sense. At this point, we'll see how the Hunter Biden case will continue. But we also have to see how the other guy has his own issues to deal with right now. And fighting Hunter Biden is there. Another guy with his own issues is Instagram, or actually Kanye West, because Instagram has restricted his account following backlash over alleged anti-Semitic posts. I always have a problem with that word. Probably the way I should put a dash in it. Anti-Semitic post. Because of this, a lot of people who have been praising Kanye West, i.e., all of Fox News for the past weekend, have to say, oh, that thing we said about Kanye and, white lives matter and Hannity likes him and Tucker likes him. Well, we got to back away from that. There's a lot of people online, a lot of famous people, a lot of not so famous people, a lot of just general people who are, have eyeballs, who are backing, putting the words, their backlash, their particular hatred for the Kanye West stuff going on. Now, Kanye West had a couple of actual articles and links that were in the range, one including his father thinking the White Lives Matter t-shirt was funny, so Kanye went with it. Another about his interviews and things like that. But this one, the newer one, because it's the bigger one, the bigger issue, is the fact that he's getting sort of blanked for being anti-Semitic, being an idiot, to be honest. Kanye needs help. Somebody needs to help Kanye. Last week we had something on Kanye, and we said Dave Chappelle or somebody, get your boy Kim, figure out what's wrong with your ex-husband, figure things out. This is a guy who, like they said in the Saturday Night Live skit, started a brand new school, but has never read a book in his life. So he says, there's something wrong with Kanye West. We want him to get better, but we need somebody to actually work on the getting better part. Man with Down syndrome reinstalled at Wendys after being fired without notice after 2 decades on the job. This is some young man, not so young man, has been working at Wendys for 20 years, who's been working at this Wendys with Down syndrome. He's been, just doing what he can, just doing a thing. And his sister said, this guy's, he's into it. He loves his job and he's looking for a day where he gets a retirement party. He's looking to work the full thing. And the Wendys in Arkansas, decided his services were no longer needed for whatever reason. No notice, just decided he was done. Guess what? The internet prevailed and told the people this is stupid. And the young man, not so young because he was working at least 20 years, is back on the job at Wendys. Congratulations. Read the story. It's really heartwarming about what happened with the story. Fast food is a dangerous game if you're looking for it for a real employment. And this is just a case where essentially the manager just wasn't paying attention to what was going on, period. But we're glad there's a happy resolution to this one. And at that retirement party, I'm showing up whether I'm invited or not. Oh, by the way, the CDC will stop reporting daily COVID cases and deaths in favor of weekly surveillance. Why is that? Because COVID is over. well, COVID's not really over, but the way we're living with COVID 2.5 years in is a whole different way than when we didn't know anything about it. So the CDC is going to stop with the daily numbers because the daily numbers are just not worth the effort. But the weekly tracking of numbers essentially is what's going to take over as we become one with the life of COVID for the rest of our lives. A teaser story for today. We may talk about this one tomorrow morning. Tom Cruise said to become the first actor to shoot movie in outer space. We know this thing was going to happen. At least it was planned to happen. Tom Cruise talking about getting some studio time, if you will, on a space station in a SpaceX capsule, doing some space stuff, so he can actually say this thing was filmed in outer space. Apparently it's going to happen. You want to chat it up? Let me know. Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. As the stories go online, every 50 minutes or so, we post a new news story. This one posted right as we went on to the air live. So posted about 5:40, 5:50, 6 o'clock-ish here at Central Time. Engage in it. Like it, love it, hate it, share it. The higher the engagement it gets, the higher score it gets at the end of the day or beginning of the day based on your time frame. And we take the top stories and figure out some of those stories to the narrative. Tomorrow through Friday, we're going to take the top 8 stories we're going to take the top 15 stories out of about 30 and pick 8 stories to present. Today, we took the top 30 out of about 90, presented 10, and that's what we have here. If you enjoy it, let us know. If the stories that we're picking don't seem like the ones you really want to talk about, put it in the chat. Let us know which stories you wish we were talking more about, and we'll see if we can turn that one around pretty quickly. Now, let's talk about chess. Chess can improve your life. Chess can improve relationships. Chess can heal the world. And the best way to get healing and world and chess together is with great chess pieces and great chess sets by this place right here, the Chess Store Incorporated. The Chess Store offers up sets that are beautiful, sets that are functional, chess sets that are conversation pieces, and sets that I can't have conversation with because I can't speak this morning. The beautiful reproductions of antiques, plastic cases, plastic chess sets that aren't just cheesy, but functional and pretty good looking and unique and luxurious. Check them out at the Chess Store by our link at thisisaconversationproject.com/the Chess Store. This is theconversationproject.com/the Chess Store. I always bring up my good friend, Miss Georgia from church, who runs the chess club at church, which little JJ is a part of, because it's something that bringing out chess as a very, very good way of improving your life, your skills, your thinking. If you want to get back into chess, get a great chess set and do it from here, the Chess Store. Now let's talk about me again, or specifically the Conversation Project and its home. This is conversationproject.com. Stop by the Conversation Project's website for ways to see more of our sponsors, keep things going. Also, ways to partner up with us if you think this is giving you some value. We think we've got good news coming on as your news side piece, as a tertiary source of news. You can help us out by partnering up with us there as well. You can also find the links to the YouTube page, so you can get this 5 this week if you're checking us out on just the J. Cleveland Payne stuff, and other things, details to be seen at the main website, which is thisisaconversationproject.com, brought to you by More Bitter Media, LLC. Today things include birthdays on today, starting off with Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, for now, 55 years old on the day. Brett Favre, former football player, former player for the Packers and the he played for the Falcons. Who else he played? He played for 3 teams. I can't remember at the back. It's hard to remember what Brett Favre's up to, what he does, what he's up to. I wonder what he's doing these days. 53 years old on the day today. And Mario Lopez of Saved by the Bell and other famous things, more or less a kind of famous, game show-ish type guy, host, producer. Access Hollywood, he was doing that for a while. 49 years old on the day. Makes you feel a little old when you know the guy you're watching on TV on Saved by the Bell is, this old, and you're that old too. Yeah. Today, traditionally known as Columbus Day, we're also going to announce it as Indigenous Peoples Day and Native American Day. These are 2 alternative names for people to celebrate the same day. There's still a celebration. Of course, the most important thing is It's Tisha's birthday. My friend Tisha's birthday is on Columbus Day, which, to her very bad dismay, when she wanted to have a party in high school on Columbus Day, she was told that they couldn't because Columbus was a killer and a rapist, and they didn't want to acknowledge him. But then she asked, "Well, can I still have a party regardless of that?" And she had a party at school. Happy birthday to you, Tisha. Love you very much. Doing great things. And for everyone else, celebrate the day on the side of the fence you want to celebrate it on. Whether you want to celebrate it as a day of remembrance for Columbus in 1492 sailing the ocean blue, getting lost and finding America, thinking it was India and kind of claiming it for Spain, or sort of the hellish life that it brought to the natives that were already here going forward. Your mileage may vary. One more thing going out the door: walking every day can have the chance of a risk of stroke. Risk or stroke. That's poorly written, so sorry about that. But only if you step up the pace. Danish scientists found intensity of exercise matters for more than duration. They studied the health of 4,000 people for a decade. Those who went on a fast walk daily had half the chance of having a heart attack or stroke as those who didn't. But those who said they walked for an hour at a leisurely pace had just the same risk as those who were largely inactive. What does this mean? This means getting your heart rate up. And this is something I'm doing as I am now incorporating walking every morning before I go to work, before I do this thing, honestly. It's a matter of getting your heart rate up, getting your blood, literally get your blood pumping so that you can get that going on. The healthier your heart is, the more you can elevate your heart rate going forward, the better it is for your heart health. If you're just walking along, like, walking across the beach sort of thing, yeah, you get some exercise. Yeah, it's good for your legs. It's good for your body, but it doesn't really work your heart as well as it could. So pick up the pace. It's that simple. Pick up the pace and save your heart. Thank you so much for joining me and the rest of us live or in the future or in the recordings here for this thing here. And of course, it's not Friday. We did it again. Keep forgetting to copy the date slide. Monday, October the 10th, 2022. Thank you so much for being with us for the show and loving every minute of it, as I do here as well. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task for all the grand things we need you here to be here for. Stop by our website and find us on our feed so you can be a part of this. Vote up the stories you like to see and see whatever things we have to offer to you online. I'm Jay Clifton Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of the deal. And let's do this again tomorrow, shall we?